So I'm on a new property. I'm excited about it. It's got a lot of grass and heavy cover on it and whatnot. Trying to figure out in the first phases, where I might want tree stands and where I might want to put some food plots. And in this particular area and location, I couldn't figure out. There's kind of two great food plot locations, and I wasn't sure which one to put it in, so I decided, hey, I'll put kind of a small plot in each one with the intention of that maybe I'll phase out the other plot after I figure out kind of which one might work the best. I know that from the tree stand I'll be able to see each plot. Each tree stand on each plot can see the other plot, so I'll kind of get a real good read. It's kind of a combination observation type of situation, and so I know I'll get a good read on which food plot's going to be the best, and then I'll probably build that one up and phase that one out. So that's the situation we're in. In the process of building this food plot, there was two nice hedge trees that were in the plot that I chose to leave, hoping the deer will use them as communication trees, and they picked them up really good. Jake went in and hung a nice cedar branch for me as a licking branch, and they picked it up immediately. And right out in front of us, there's a big scrape the size of a manhole cover that's wide open and fresh. And as a whitetail hunter, nothing will make you feel more excited than when you go in and there's a big, beautiful, fresh scrape right underneath you. You feel like, it increases your chances, and we're excited about it. We're excited to see which bucks are going to come into this plot today and put on a show. I've got the two plots. I got the south plot and the north plot. The north plot is the one that I think in the long run is going to be a little bit better. The south plot is a little bit more of an observation stand, but also has a lot of does. I'm really not sure which one's going to work the best. This is a new property, so is it going to be the north plot or the south plot that ends up being the really good one? It's the middle of October, and I've chosen the south plot, a little less intrusive. Use the black racks to pull a buck to that south plot without doing quite as much damage to the property. I started to see some deer in that north plot. All of a sudden I realized, hey, I'm laying eyes on a bigger deer, and I put the binocs up, and just here he is right in the middle of the plot. Kraken's in that other plot and he's feeding, and I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do? I gotta try and put together a strategy quick on what kind of calling I'm gonna use and see if I can get him interested to come over to this south plot. Kraken is a big, beautiful 10-pointer, and he's got a huge swooping brow tine off his left side. Just a really, really cool deer and super distinctive. I knew it was him as soon as I saw him. Definitely a deer that I think is in the 6-7 age class, and I want to try and kill him if I can. October 18th, I'm thinking contact grunts is the way to go. They're in that mode where they're really scraping heavy, spending a lot of time trying to lay out territories, and that's what I'm going to try and do, is evoke a territorial response from Kraken by hitting him with some contact grunts and let him know, hey, I'm a pretty mature buck and I'm over here in your territory. Here he comes. He's trotting right towards the food plot. I'm like, oh my gosh, it worked. This is amazing. And there's a series of scrapes along this fence, and he gets to that fence and he's pausing, hitting these scrapes, and I'm trying to figure out, is he still going to come to the plot? Is he still got the same mindset? And he kind of pauses at the edge of the fence and whatnot, and I realize, hey, I need to give him a little bit more, just a little bit more coaxing to get him over here. Grab the black racks and kind of just a little bit of light tickling of the black racks together. And he looks and looks, boom, here he comes. He jumps the fence and he's coming right to the plot. Kraken's down at the end of the plot now. He's 60 yards away, coming into the plot. He's trying to figure out, which bucks are these over here that are fighting. I heard fighting, I heard a buck grunt. He's expecting to see that there's bucks in this plot. His nose is dripping. He's trying to get his nose wet so he can have a little bit of extra sense of smell and try and figure out, are these bucks that I know? You can tell, he's on the final approach. He thinks he's walking into a fight. And he gets to the end of the plot about 50 yards away, kind of pauses, and he's looking, trying to understand what's in the plot, what's down here. And range him, he's 52 yards away. He's broadside, but for me, 52 yards is just well outside of my comfort range. I just don't like to shoot deer that far. He's kind of realizing, hey, you know, I don't see any fight going on here. He doesn't see anything in the plot. The plot's relatively flat. And that's when I kind of realized I've made, you know, a mistake. I probably shouldn't have done this without a decoy in the plot, because he's not buying it. He's looking down there and he doesn't see anything going on, and I can see his body posture. You know, he's starting to, his communication's starting to say, hey, I'm done with this situation. I don't see what I expected here. And he starts to, you know, just kind of roll and drift off on us. That brings up a really interesting point. There's a lot of times that you're really faced with a decision when you're going to call to a deer or not call to a deer. In general, when I'm in heavy cover, I'm really willing to call the deer at any time. It works really well. When they can't see what's on the ground, they expect that, oh, what they're hearing, they're going to come over, and when they get there, they'll be able to see it. But this is one of those tough situations where I was in a food plot. I had a mature buck that I really wanted to try and kill, and so I kind of pushed the issue a little bit by calling with an open area out in front of me like that, and it cost me. You know, he didn't quite finish. You know, on another day he might have come in and given me a shot, but on this particular day it cost me because, you know, he didn't buy it. Now the good news is he didn't really spook. He just kind of drifted off, just didn't see what he wanted. Well, we're headed back in on a morning hunt now. It's 9 days later. We got the wind again. You know, we got a decent north wind, and we're gonna sit in that same south food plot. Got a great observation of the entire area, see what's going on, see kind of what stage of the rut are we at, see if there's any bucks gonna come, you know, be trolling or looking or searching in the area for does. Well, this buck comes out of the corner and comes out into the field and starts displaying, you know, putting on a show with this other buck. They're kind of posturing to each other. I thought at first it was immediately that it was Kraken, and then I'm realizing, wait a second, that's not actually him, but he's also got the big, heavy left extra brow tine. So it's a deer that's very, very similar, but it's not the same buck. I'm realizing that this is two separate bucks. There's two separate bucks that have this big, huge left brow tine, extra brow tine coming off, but they're actually different bucks. And I, you know, up until now, I thought all the trail camera pictures I have were of one animal. I realized, yeah, these are two separate bucks that I have under one folder. So Thor gets done posturing with this buck, and now I'm in a position where I could call. But, you know, it's fresh in my mind what happened to me with Kraken just a few days before, calling in a barren food plot with no decoy, and I realized, hey, I'm not willing to call at him right now. I'm just gonna let this scenario play out. Well, we got really lucky in that south stand. You know, Thor came in and the wind had cut us a little bit, and Thor was basically straight downwind of us for a period of time. I was freaking out thinking he was going to get us, but phase worked for us and we got away with it. Part of what we used is scent control techniques on this hunt. It's all a grass field. If I'm walking in and out of there all the time, I'm going to leave a lot of scent on that grass. So I'd gone in and mowed a path all the way to both the tree stands and both the food plot situations so that we could glide in on basically just a couple inch tall grass, really, really quiet, not leave any scent on that grass that the deer can pick up and whatnot. And then, you know, using phase and making sure that we're just as scent free as we can possibly be, and trying to always make sure we're hunting the wind. It's the 29th of October. Mature bucks are really covering ground now, so it's time to drop in on the better spot. We're going to hit that north plot and really see, you know, what's going on back in there, and hope that either Kraken or Thor will come into that plot and maybe give me a shot this morning. As a whitetail hunter, it's just one of those incredible mornings that you wait for all year. You know, it's cold, it's beautiful out, something's gonna happen. You just feel it in the air, something's gonna happen. And then, you know, the minutes tick by, and then an hour, and then a couple hours, and nothing happening, you know, so your hopes start to get dashed. We have a beautiful doe over in the timber and whatnot, but that's about it, just not too much going on. I just know from past experience, hang in there, wait, you know, lightning can strike anytime. It's gonna happen. It's October 29th. Somebody is gonna be on their feet looking for does. Looking up, and I realize, oh my gosh, 80 yards away, It's Thor. Here he comes. He's coming right down into the plot. He's making scrapes and just tearing up this hillside up on top. And Tanner gets on him with the camera and starts burning some great footage. Well, Thor breaks off these scrapes that are up the hill, and now he's coming down into the plot, and I know, boy, we got him. You know, we really got him. He's 30 yards, 25 yards, angling right down into the plot on the trail that cuts across the bottom of the plot. He's gonna give me a perfect 20-yard shot. It's just, you absolutely cannot get a better situation. You know, this deer is dead broadside, in full sun. Tanner's all ready. He's telling me, I got it. We're just ready, you know. And he slows down on his own and is coming to a stop on his own. I'm at full draw waiting, and he slows down on his own and just gives me a perfect 20-yard broadside shot. Thor is dead. I couldn't be more excited. We're gonna get down and go put our hands on Thor. Put a plan together for this buck and came into this back food plot today, taking a chance. Thor came right into the plot and lucky enough to make a great shot on him. We're gonna go put our hands on him. Well, this was a super rewarding hunt to be able to head into a property like this that I just got, you know, handshake property. Tanner and I put some great work into the property and the food plots. Really tried to lay them out right and went to the extra amount of trouble, you know, mowing the pathways to get to where we needed to get to and try and set this thing up right the first time so that we could, you know, just go in surgical style and really put a move on a great older mature buck that wouldn't be expecting any of this. And, you know, just couldn't be more happy the way it all worked out. Really felt like, you know, we really put a move on this buck. Very satisfying. Dude, he's in the plot. He's in the plot. In the other plot. This is incredible. Oh, dude. Old Thor. Look at that. Old Thor. Look at that. Oh, man. What an awesome deer. Well, definitely a very important aspect of this hunt was our scent control, using the Phase products. You know, in a situation like this, we're going deep in and playing cat and mouse with a pair of mature bucks on their home turf, and that's one of the toughest things in the world to do. You know, any whitetail hunter can tell you that. When you start getting into a buck's core area and getting close to him, if your scent control isn't, you know, just as good as you can make it, they just drop away. You know, you never see them again. They go completely nocturnal, and you're wondering, where did this buck go? And you're still getting him on, you know, getting trail camera pictures, but he's just gone. He'll never show himself to you again. So it's a really important aspect of when you start moving in tight on a buck, just try and do everything you can to eliminate your scent.